Good evening, Gemini. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Welcome to my channel, Tarot of the Twin Sun. This is a February situationship reading for the month of February 2020 for Gemini. And basically, we'll be opening up 3 portals for you to take from each portal and create a type of narrative that will hopefully guide you in terms of your love situationship. Okay? Uh, Luckily, I'm back in town and I have access to my Cartomanzia Italiana deck, which is a really good deck. Contaroci del 19 degrees. And it's a 1983 deck, a very, very good deck. So we'll be working from this deck, pulling the energies, and we'll get started in double quick time. Right, so we'll get to shuffling. And once again, this is a situationship reading for Gemini, February 2020, and we'll be pulling from 3 different portals. The first portal is about to open, and the goal is for you to take from each portal whatever resonates. Okay, this deck is ready. Okay, so, my dear Gemini, we have here your elements coming in strong with the sword's energy. This is air, the elements of air. We have Il Sette di Spade, as well as the Ace of Swords, L'Asso di Spade. So the 7 of Swords and the Ace of Swords. There is an energy here of you in the month of February 2020, possibly taking a higher stance on a lesson, or perhaps living out a certain type of philosophy that you have developed when it comes to communication. There's a lot of cutting energy here, so it wouldn't surprise me if you've had to cut off an etheric cord with someone, someone that may have at one point given you a sense of an ending when it comes to their behavior. There's something about your elements here that is able to walk in both the paths of light and dark, and to stand between the two in a type of gray area, but also to stand with a higher truth. There's an element of balance here when it comes to this truth, where you are able to take both the aspects of ethical behavior, dark and light, to walk through darkness and to see through the motivations of others in order to find some sort of truth. Okay? Let's see. Right, so already I'm seeing the end of a cycle. The end of a cycle that has to do with swords energy. There were a great number of choices and crossroads with this cycle, this thought pattern, the thought of someone you had in mind that you were working hard towards. Also, there was a type of ending, or perhaps a double cross with this situation that had to end, and it ended, and there is, in the month of February, a fleeting memory or something that is residual in a way, but the beauty of it is that you've actually gone through the cycles enough to come up with a sort of truth that comes from double heartbreak on your end and their end. There is some sort of double heartbreak that led to a type of truth, and you, after getting over a sense of betrayal or a sense of bewilderment, are now starting to work hard towards your own efforts. And it's coming to fruition. There is a type of strength that is emergent, especially with the 2 here on the top left corner. There is an element of your energy coming through La Forza, which is the strength card, in this tarot deck, and it has to do with being able to tame passions and to curb desires. Anything like this will be an act of fortitude, or perhaps an act of force, a forceful act in which you take your strength back in a certain way. And it's very good, considering you are not tempted by your desires. They are perhaps there, but you are able to control them in order to manifest something great, something that makes you feel stable, as well as something that helps you to get to a state of well-being. Here with the Ten of Cups energy, Il Diezio di Copa, there is a type of richness that comes in the month of February with your hard work, something that you've been working hard to, and it's about damn time, because the Wheel of Fortune is spinning in your favor, and perhaps you're ascending in a certain path towards liberation, or perhaps towards happiness of some sort of happiness, as well as the need to walk a type of spiritual path that involves the pentacle cycle. Somehow your finances, your projects, anything that helps you feel grounded is now being looked at after a great deal of feeling a sense of ending, or feeling of a sense of abandonment. There's something about the way you are grounding yourself, especially with the pentacle cycle, through your emotions, through what makes you feel fulfilled, content, and happy, with your society, with people around you, with love, if you find it, if you're lucky enough to find it. And if you have been working towards this love, it's because you've earned it in some way, shape, or form. Yes, I see this. There no longer is a type of conservation or a need to define yourself through through manifestations, through like luck. Most of this is happening because of your hard work, and you're able to take these energies and to work in a type of solitude. Solitude that involves others, though. It's very strange because you feel connected to someone emotionally, especially with the Ten of Cups. You feel a great sense of love, or perhaps purpose, when it comes to something within you. But you are not defined by outer influences. There's something about your stability, yes, that is based on the internal going out into the external world. You're giving in a certain way, but you're not necessarily dependent on other parties or other structures to define who you are or what you're up to. There's a possibility that the energy of a soulmate is trying to break through in a certain way. It's acting in a very subtle way with the Four of Rods in reverse, as well as the need to surrender this energy, the cycle of the rods with this person, the need to set aside and set free a burden from the past. And you're close to ending that cycle, but still there's something to be had in terms of passions. You still have some passions for this person, though you're not willing to work or commit with them in a way. There's something that you still need to offer in terms of a truth that has to do with the repressed emotional content. Some love that you have for this person is keeping you on a cycle of burden, and you may have tried to cut them out before, and it's sort of worked. But this is, it's like your mind is playing tricks on you. There's something about the patterns that exist here that still point to a type of learning through emotions. You're still trying to, your mind is still trying to rationalize certain emotions and to create emotional intelligences based on these. And it seems to me that there also is like a hidden need to celebrate a type of love that wants to be given but can't for the moment. There's a lot of energy with something from the past that wants to resurface, and but there's something about your energy that is blocking it out, or perhaps you have someone new who is blocking out someone who is trying to give back in a certain way. There is the difficulty of trying to stay put when it comes to you making the right choice. There is also the energy of the Hanged Man here, the inability to reach out to someone, or perhaps to make the choice to avoid any sort of what do you call it, when someone is like holding back, and they're imbalanced or they're confused or they're indecisive here. That's the key. There's an amount of indecision here that has to do with the romance that is repressed, as well as the passion that is repressed, and these are polarized. The passions and the emotions are not in harmony, as well as they're not being let out in the right way. Therefore, if there is someone from the past with Mercury retrograde coming back, there's no chance for it to work out because judgment is in the reverse, and it's because you may not necessarily trust either your emotional content or your your passions for this person. Mm. Yeah, but still, there's an interesting interplay here with the chariots, La Carrozza here, as well as Le Apeso, the hanged man. There is something about the emotional giving that someone is giving to someone else. This could be the person that you may have dealt with or are dealing with. Their energy is very much trying to push towards you, but you are on this sort of don't bother me sort of stance with the hanged man. There's something spiritual about the way you are processing your emotions, and it's not yet time to express these, but you have to be aware that these are these are inevitable, and there's something about this person's energy that is very much concerned with creating something new, or perhaps reliving something old, a type of an idea. This person is very strongly an idealist, and they may come off as a bit naive or childish, but you may like that. And there also is something about what they want to give to you. Um, it's like an offering of small time, of small commitment. It's not something that that would help with your stability. It might destabilize you, and that's what you're very sort of careful of here. With their energy, they're moving towards you with hidden passion as well as a lot of emotion and a lot of feeling. But you are standing in the sense of the Queen of Swords, La Donna di Spada, which is all about you equipping that sort of truth from earlier and trying to find balance, as well as protecting yourself intuitively from any sort of outside influences that have to do with you, especially when it comes to making a choice of the mind. There's something about um, there's like a burnout in in the neural structures of your mind that may be holding the energy in a certain way that is very psychological. So you're processing all of this, and you're creating a bit of a wall, not a heavy wall. I mean, you're still willing to feel passions or emotions for this person, but in terms of stability, it's not very stable, and therefore there's a reason for you to cut out their energy in a certain way. And it seems like if you do this, there may be a chance to live out a new type of thing through the energy of the Fool, and a new cycle of the major arcana is also possible mid-month of February. Okay, I'm gonna work from the same deck this time. I love this deck, so it's good to have it back, and it's good to be back. I will go ahead and shuffle up on this deck, and we'll get started. Okay. Second portal is now opening. I knew it. Okay. So there's the energy of the Hermit here, the Hermit, as well as the King of Pentacles in the reverse, as well as the Knight of Swords, or rather the Page of Swords in the reverse here. Infante di Spada. Okay. So there's the energy of something very particular here. Give me 1 second. All right. Right. So there's the energy of something very complex here, and I'm going to clarify a bit more. Okay. For the second portal, there's the energy of you going on some sort of spiritual quest to find a higher truth, a higher purpose that has to do with the chains of a relationship. Something here where the situation was too great, it had to do with a third party element as well. A love triangle, or perhaps there is something about your connection with someone else that became extremely toxic, regardless of whether there was a triangle or not. But there was the element of ulterior motives, some other force of desire that was holding you together, and essentially this was too much for you, and you had to walk the path of the hermit. Now, because of this, you essentially are trying to find stability through this action. The motivation of this is the King of Pentacles, and it's in the reverse. Something about the reversal of the King of Pentacles indicates great instability when it comes to the burden of some sort of passion for someone. I think the time and the energy that you've spent on this person has essentially given you such a burden that you have gone to a type of burnout that you're finally able to set down in the month of February. Um, in order to find some sort of stability. But here's the thing, like the stability is not yet there. And this is because there is the element of the Nine of Rods here. There's a cycle here that is certainly having to do with the passions of the heart. And these fires of manifestation, these fires of creativity inside of you are moving towards the 9 and 10 of the 9 and 10 of rods. Okay, so it's like the end of the cycle when it comes to something, and it feels like this is not a very rewarding thing either. It's more this situation is more has more destabilized you than anything else, and I think it's very difficult for you to reconcile the actual time and the energy that you've already spent in it. Okay. um, Now, this usually indicates a type of burden. Okay, usually at the end of the rod cycle, it indicates, because it's the element of fire, the fire dying out. You know, essentially, it becomes too hot, too heavy to bear, to burden. So you just surrender it. There's something about it. Like at the 9, you still have some sort of kick in the situation. The 10, usually it means it's just a falling out, and you have to set aside the cycle. Um, yeah, so it's come to a type of T square where like you've run a dead end and it's just over. But at the same time, there was a sort of there was still some energy inside of the situation, but it was just too much, and it led to a type of instability. Now, the near to future outcome with this particular portal has to do with you finding a sense of, or blocking in a certain way, blocking communication because of a karmic tie that you have with this person, with justice in reverse. There was a type of betrayal, or perhaps an injustice that happened here that has put you on edge, and you are unable to actually justify a lot of what this person has done to you, right? For clarity, this has to do with someone who you've been dealing with for some time, with El Mundo, the world, the universe in the reverse. There's an indication of the fallout of a structure and the beginning of something new, the end of the cycle, the beginning of something new. However, usually if the card comes in reverse, the world card comes in reverse, it indicates a recycling of the same cycle, okay? So this is definitely a karmic tie. Whoever you're dealing with here is extremely unstable, is giving you that energy, as well as they may be a bit manipulative in terms of what they do to you. And in the near future, that also may be the possibility that they may be a bit manipulative with their energies. So you have to be very careful. Um, as far as your energies go, there is the need to, on your end, to embody the Seven of Swords energy, El Sete de Espada, which is sort of going through darkness to find the light, needing to see the motivations of communication, to review these, and to actually see what is worth taking and worth keeping. There's something about this heartbreak that was on both ends, and then a truth emerged. Okay, this truth has to do with a type of no waiting, non-waiting for a love situation to manifest. Okay, now this love situation can also involve a choice for commitment, a higher choice, a higher purpose, and it's the motivation of desire that is very deep inside of this connection. But it's also very psychological. It's also very psychic, and you have to be very careful of this energy because communications, if they do occur, they will tend to lead to a lot of cutting, as well as the need to verbalize and to fight with this person is very much strong in the cards, especially in the sort of visionary outcome of it. Also, there is the Seven of Rods, and it's in the reverse. So there's a type of indecision and perhaps hesitation with the energy of the passions that exist between you two, because, like I said, the passions are very much destabilizing. They are not grounded in a certain way, and any commitments of time or energy are usually wound up in a type of devil energy. So there's this possessive quality, codependent quality, and your energy now is the hermit, moving away from all of this, moving away to find some sort of truth. We have two sevens here, so that's also very important. There is a connection between what lies between you and your motivations. You have a great hand in the power of the outcome of the situation. And if you were to equip the sword of truth that comes from double heartbreak, you would also be able to find a new sort of beginning, a new manifestation that stems from a dual period of waiting on both ends. Okay, the ability to transcend all of this, to go through the garbage in order to find something worthwhile. There also is a deep secret here on their end that they're not sharing with you, and perhaps if they do reach out, they might start to lead you on in terms of what the secret is. Not lead you on in a negative way. I don't see that happening. I think if they do lie, you usually can't tell. However, there is something about the secret here that has to do with a very deep-seated fear. They fear something. They fear essentially heartbreak, and they feel that they fear that you haven't gotten over it, or that they will never get over it. They also fear death in a certain way, the energy of transformation. So this person is very much afraid of heartbreak through transformation, through deep love, through perhaps sexual enactment, through the act of enthralling, through sexual consummation. There might be a very intense thing that they don't want to see reflected inside of themselves. So it's also a secret motivation that they have. All right. Now let's move on. That portal is closed. Very intense reading so far, Gemini. Close off with another portal. All right. Last shuffle, and we shall go in. Yep. Okay. Gemini, there's the energy of someone here trying to move into your field of influence. Something about unfinished business here is being revisited, and there is a sense of vengeance or perhaps the need to reestablish territory. You have walked, oh, no, at one point have made they made a choice at one point to walk away from the situation. Not only walk but run. But they didn't know where they were running to. They seem to have made a choice, but I'm not exactly sure if they had a clear mind when it came to this choice. What they were trying to avoid was a situation of love, or perhaps trying to find love through some sort of great transformation. They needed a type of ego death to get over your energy, or perhaps the energy of something from the past from someone else. Okay. Um, no. So at one point, At one point, there was a great deal of love and desire that was reflected between both of you. It was very strong, very fierce. This person was very emotional with you, and you had a great deal of lust for them. There was a lot of lust as well as desire for them. But for some reason, there was no way to alleviate this energy. There's a lot of Leo energy here, as well as the energy of fire, including Aries, Leo, so lots of water as well. Scorpio being here with the King of Cups, and all water sign with the Ace of Cups in the reverse. There's a situation of the inability to communicate truthfully the what what the motivations were in terms of what this person wanted. There's a lack of self-love on their end. They're trying to wildly go where no one has gone before, but they seem to have hit a wall because of their motivations, and now they may try to return back to you. But I think you overall have a control over your desires, and even though this person is kind of madly in love with you, as well as madly in desire of you, there's sort of like a firewall that you are holding back. You're saying no to this person because you feel like you have conquered your desires when it comes to this person. And also, there is the energy of hard work coming into this. Work is very much on your side, as well as it is sort of being reflected in a way. This person wants to work hard towards beginning with you, but the beginning cannot be totally manifested yet. Now there also is that story of revenge, and your energy is coming up along with, let's see, the Eight of Cups, some sort of return, and then drinking from that cup with the energy of Bagato here. There is a type of new cycle with something old that has to do with something that you left behind, and then not only do you take the cup, but you transmute it through temperance. You transmute it into something that will hopefully give you more balance and stability. In terms of an actual stability, like a commitment, I don't necessarily see that happening. If there is focus, yes, it can happen, but there is a type of ambivalence in the type of balance you're trying to search for. In terms of what you've manifested in a very subconscious way, in a very emotional way. You manifested something from the past that needs healing, as well as it needs patience in order to find equilibrium with this person. This person was a runner. They ran away. Now they're returning for some sort of reconciliation, and you seem to be very much on the high end of a very fixed energy, and you are not going to let go of something that is so beautiful that is for you right now, in order just to alleviate this person, whoever they are. They seem to come across as very demanding as well as needy in a certain way, but truthfully, they still have a great deal of love for you, but it's the type of love that is almost obsessive, or perhaps codependent. So be very careful of that, okay? My dear Gemini, this is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like that. Otherwise, I'll see you in mid-February for the Great Mirror Reading, the energies of you and someone else through 3 levels of conscious representation and the way to liberate yourself from that energy. So once again, this was a situationship reading.
I will see you on the flip side, and happy Chinese New Year, as well as happy spring, hopefully, is coming. Alright, so once again, this is Ron. Bye bye.